looks a little wobbly. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, so here we are back again with the servers that we saw last time. The Dell PowerEdge 1950, the Dell PowerEdge R510, and the Dell PowerEdge R710, which is not pictured but is over there. Now, last time, as I was editing the video, I realized I didn't balance the audio quite correctly, so is this better for you? Anyways, so since last time, I've been working to get this thing with all the drivers and stuff, and I can now say that I have slightly more accessibility to the server from the operating system with this one. Not like that matters the whole time, because this should have a chip in it that allows me to remotely manage the server, but I still haven't quite figured out how that works yet. Maybe it's this thing constantly reboots, so yeah. I still have plenty of updates to install on this machine, don't worry. Windows has not changed in the last however many years since they've introduced Windows Update. Anyway, additionally, I attempted to install TeamViewer on here, but it still doesn't show up on my account. I need to figure that out. Why did I screw this VGA cable? I didn't really need to do that. Additionally, now this server has been reloaded with a fresh copy of Windows Server 2012 R2. You know, everyone's favorite version with the full screen start menu or whatever. Yeah. Also, it's slightly misaligned. I don't know why that happens. And the Dell PowerEdge R710 has Windows Server 2012 as well, but it doesn't need that because I uploaded this USB flash drive with a little piece of software known as VMware ESXi, and that's what we're installing on the 710. So we've got quite a bit to do today. We've got to make sure all three of these servers have some role in the production of this setup. So let's get started. First off, I'd like to focus your attention on the 710 because it currently really does need the operating system before we move too much further with this. So yeah, put in the USB stick. We gotta actually be able to interface with the system, so we gotta plug in the mouse and keyboard. If this was a more professional setup with like an actual server rack, which I would not mind having someday, if this was an actual professional setup, we'd probably have like a terminal that we could whip out. It's like a laptop and it's hooked up physically to the server so you can interface with it. Yeah, I've actually seen that before. The football stadium press box has a server that runs the scoreboard, and we had to mess with it one time. It took many reboots. We did eventually fix the scoreboard, and the reason it wasn't working is because one of the hard drives was like that, and the other redundant hard drive was not activated because it wasn't set up to do so. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start the server now. It's honestly not as loud as it was before. Now I'd like to focus your attention on the monitor. I still have yet to figure out why whenever it's done configuring the memory, all 12 gigabytes of it, I have yet to figure out why the Dell logo does not show up on the BIOS screen. Of course, it could also be not dated BIOS, it could also be a corrupted BIOS. We have no idea yet. Here, the hard drive starting up, one virtual drive, and I remember I haven't seen UEFI mode, where I probably should have it in BIOS mode, so yeah! I'll have to get into the BIOS setup. I still have no idea why. They're using a 2003 BIOS, but it has UEFI on it. The other one has that too, but I don't use it because I didn't set it up that way. I probably should have, but you know. Life goes as life goes. You watched me screw up last time, and that's okay. This isn't my job yet. Notice how I said yet. Alright, yeah, integrated with Windows. Well, yeah, I need to go back into the BIOS of the system. Setup. Yes. I'd like to enter the setup of the computer so I can get it out of UEFI mode. There we go. Boot settings, boot mode, BIOS, boot sequence. Yeah, but like, this needs to go first. Oh, shit. Wait, no. Oh, the USB is first. Okay, that's good. Yeah, save changes and restart. You know what? I just noticed it said Avamar data store on that server. Now I know for a fact this was at some point in an actual productive setting, because it has stickers denoting that it was in fact actually used in a productive setting. This one doesn't, but I did save the log file. It does go back to 2010, and the server. I don't think the server was retired until last year. This thing was running 10 straight years. Can you believe it? And hopefully it runs for another 10 straight years, but you know, any hardware fault, it's probably not gonna be the biggest deal in the world. I'm pretty much gonna be the only person that's using this, because my family knows how to use a NAS yet. We have not had one. Oh, is it? Oh, shit. I don't think I had that set up right. Okay, so when I was in Rufus earlier, making this USB bootable, it asked me if I wanted to, because the menu was outdated, and if I wanted to make a new one, and I clicked no, thinking it was just gonna work, because that was the better option. And now that I'm getting these errors, I probably should have actually installed a newer version of the menu C32 thing. Okay, we'll fix that later, because it's clearly not going to start at this rate. Oh, no. Oh. I don't have a CD drive in here. Actually, I could pull the disk drive from the 510 and put it in the 710 and see if I can use an old disk I have somewhere around here that has an older version of ESXi, but that version was meant for the PowerEdge 1950, because I'm pretty sure I got that image off of Dell's site, like this one. So, yeah, it looks like we've totally fucked this USB here, so I'm gonna pull that, stop trying to boot from it. We will fix this in a little bit. For now, shut down the server, instant off, and yeah. I suppose now we can move on to the Dell PowerEdge 1950. Now, thinking about it in hindsight, if I really wanted to get a 9th gen Dell PowerEdge server, I probably should have gone for a 2950, but this was the cheapest server at the time. And I got it for a grand total of like 30-something bucks. Absolute steal for something I just had to put more RAM in and put in a hard drive, and it just worked. Servers really do cost basically nothing compared to what their power potential is. So Internet Explorer, I suppose we're gonna have to use the same methods as last time to get rid of the enhanced security configuration, which we don't need. Refresh. And now its recorder is off, so minimize that for now. Let me be honest, I've used Windows 8, I've used Windows 8.1. Windows 8.1 actually made the start menu usable. Now, to be fair, Server 2012 doesn't have the power options because you're really not supposed to shut down servers very often. The most you're supposed to shut them down for is like updates and patches and stuff. The easiest way is to go over here, like that, and yeah, shut it down from there. It really is still Windows 8, just in a server form. because it's gonna try to Bing it. Yes, I do want to switch to Chrome. See, notice how nothing is blocked anymore. Download for Chrome. Oh wait, shit. I'm installing Google Chrome. Now, the first thing I'll do is probably install TeamViewer at this point. You have new apps that can open web pages. You think I didn't catch that the first time? Oh, Windows, you never change. Alright, yeah, we'll close out of that for now. We'll probably use that later. Okay, that just opened back up. Anyways, now what we can do, add roles and features. Hopefully it still works, because I do not have Windows Server 2012 R2 installation media anymore. I think that was what 2016 was complaining about over here. And I still might rewrite the flash drive in 2016 if we need to do that. Destination server, actually, well, first off, let's change the name of the server to... I came up with this name in 2020, don't judge me. No domain yet, we're going to set that, that's what this server is going to become. And yeah, I'll restart once we're done installing roles and features. So yeah, role-based or feature installation, yeah. It's going to be an Active Directory domain controller. It's going to be a DNS server as well, and that's really all we... Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Well, I think I have to configure it first after I install it, so... I'm getting ahead of myself, and just for fun, let's install the .NET framework. Maybe it was complaining because this wasn't connected to the internet when I installed the roles. Yeah. Because this server is running off internet connection as well. Set up the thing. Yeah, change adapter settings. Network cable's unplugged over there, but that's okay, we don't need it. We stock that at the moment. This is why I said it's not how not to build a Homelab, because this is all cheaply done. The budget mainly goes into the systems themselves. Set up my own thing. And in order to specify a DNS server for this system, I actually have to go into the router settings and figure out what the DNS server is for my router. So. Okay, yeah, I forgot. I think this router has a weird username and password configuration. So I have to actually check my phone to figure out which picture is the router itself and what the password and stuff is. We'll be right back. Well, after many trials and tribulations, I finally figured it out. What the password was. It was a random string of letters and numbers, and I have now added it to a thing that's on the desktop. The scroll bar is off the screen, basically. And yeah, you can actually see all the connections. In fact, I may have to censor some of this. But, okay, yeah, so where is basic WAN? Alright, what I need to find is the DNS server. IPv4 DNS servers, okay. So I may or may not be able to just copy and paste this into, that's not it. Okay. I can do that. I can actually go back and put in the other DNS server as the alternative. And there we go. Now we have a static IP, which I'll remember because it has 64 at the end, and that will be what I use to connect other systems to the domain. That's probably going to be the only domain controller. It's not like it's super critical or anything. I don't know. Maybe I'll set up a virtual server on the 710 as an alternative to that. But the R510 is going to be exclusively a NAS that also happens to have a domain connection. So that's the important part, and just for safe measure, let's give it a reboot. Probably updates anyways, because fucking Windows, am I right? Plan, reboot. Meanwhile, let's check in on the R510. Okay. So on the desktop here, what is the problem with the services? Okay. Yeah, let's just Google, am I right? Alright, so we can configure the server. First off, let's give it the actual hyperspace name. Again, part of the work group because we don't have the domain set up quite yet. I'm sure I'll restart in a little bit. Server 2016 data center. Cool. Where do I find where the roles are at? Because they still need configured as far as I know of. Assuming they're even installed. In fact, let's check that. What do we have on here? I do not even have Hyper-V selected. So we have to add those features, which we did in the last video, and then add in .NET Framework, and it's going to find these off of the internet. Yeah, cool. So, sure, add Ethernet. Well, I'm not going to configure migration because it's going to be the only Hyper-V server. I don't know, I might install Hyper-V on that as a backup, but actually it's probably not going to help at all because the drives are still attached to this machine. If this machine goes down, the drives go down as well. Yada yada yada, figure it out later. In fact, at some point, I'm probably going to have to do a part 3 where I reconfigure the drives in this system to be RAID 5 instead of RAID 0 because RAID 0 is extremely dangerous and I don't really want to convert everything to RAID 1. Have 2 separate drives, and yeah, fun. I'd rather have everything on one drive. Not the Microsoft thing. Yeah, so that installed. surprise. Let me guess, it's gonna install updates too. Yeah, actually. Yeah, so close that. And where's the yeah, there's the updates. We're gonna okay. We're gonna see how long this is gonna take to actually update the computer. Yeah, this server room is an allergy man's worst nightmare. Install updates. It may even restart. We'll figure that later. Yeah, there's that. Open TeamViewer. Why can I not add this to my computers? Yes, assign to this account then. And I think I have just figured it out, and that should be added to my computers. Which is this computer? Yeah, I can now connect to my own system. That's phenomenal. Anyways, this thing should be installing updates now. You know, as Windows does, all the time. I do need to activate this. I will do that later, possibly. I would like to add my own background to the server. I'll make that. System. Takes a long time because I'm running it off of a flash drive. Yeah, so let's switch over to the other server now. Play, baby. I suppose now it's time to reconfigure the server. Yes, so promote the server. It's already did that. It might already be the DNS controller. I don't remember if I have to configure that or if I can have to configure that or not. Add a new forest.
Hey, Forest! As you may or may not know, it's July 17th, 2021.
How about that? That's a good name. Yeah, I don't have anything older than this at the moment. Excuse me for a second. I don't know what this error is all about. This is the next step. I am not integrating with anything at the moment, actually. Let's change to that. Okay, so what I could have done is I could have configured it and then it would have restarted automatically. So yeah, I guess we can close out of. Oh, okay then. Can't do anything with this at the moment. We have to let it do its thing, then restart, and now we can switch back over to the other server, which probably needs to be restarted anyway. I'll leave the disk drive out. How many times have I switched over from one server to the other? Ever since the start of this. Perhaps we shouldn't even install updates right now. Just close out resource monitor and settings and just restart it altogether. This is reconfiguration, continue, reboot. Getting Windows ready. Oh shit, it is installing updates. Well, it seems we have 2 inactive servers at the moment. So I suppose we have to wait for both of them to reboot, and I will report to you when we are done with that. Okay, the server is rebooted, and the domain is set up, but not on this machine yet. But both of them are ready. So the server may actually... Nah. You gotta do this first. It's not 8:58 a.m. The time still needs to be changed. Okay, well while we're waiting on USB to stop being so slow, let's use the USB flash drive to install ESXi on another server. I believe I actually fixed the flash drive this time. Alright, let's see if it starts. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Dell EMC ESXi. Loading ESXi installer. Don't you just love to see it? Yeah, so continue. I do accept F11. Yes, so this is the storage device. It's probably gonna ask me to format it, which I will do. I would like to use the full capacity. Yes. Default. I don't know. I just typed in password. I don't care. No one's going to be accessing the server anyway. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have done that because someone's probably going to hack me now. We will take care of that. This will be repartitioned. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I might have to change the password now because this does have internet and yeah. I do intend to actually run a game server on this system. So once it reboots, I'm gonna have to reconfigure the BIOS to have hardware accelerated virtualization enabled. I think that's what it's called. Okay, yeah, so we are now running ESXi on this server, which we were supposed to be doing from the very beginning, but whatever. Reboot. There. There. Oh, okay, that caused it to do a full reboot, like shut down and restart. While that thing starts up, it shouldn't take too long. Let's check in the progress of Windows Server 2016. Alright, so we gotta change the adapter settings. Here we go. Let's set the DNS server on this manually so we can hook it up to the okay, well this one has it, so just do this then. Perhaps that's why we had to restart this. So 192.168.0.64 and I just sent to that. Doesn't need a static IP, so it's running off of the DNS server of that network now, since apparently the virtual thing runs the actual whatever. And now we can set it up for a domain. Woo. Yeah, go into here then. Change settings. This could be easy. See if I can just do it like that. Hello? Okay. No, go. Yeah. Yay! We're doing it like it's 2001 again. Yeah, I'm aware I have to restart. And just do it now. Checking in with the SXI server. I don't think it's made a connection yet. I think it's still trying to do that. It's like I'm operating a switchboard. What the fuck? Alright, well, I guess this is going to take a bit, so we'll be right back. Okay, so really quickly, I did have to reconfigure the NIC on the 710 to run off port 4 instead of port 1, because port 1 is disconnected and port 4 is actually hooked up to the network. So, now I'm actually downloading the tools to manage the server. It should have run already. It is running, actually. I can close out of this. Don't need it at the moment. Cool. Let's set up the vSphere client with Install Shield Wizard because it's still 1995, but not really. This is much newer than the version that I have used before. So, yeah. Oh boy, Visual C++. Hopefully it doesn't require Server Manager to do that. Don't worry, we'll get to the NAS in a bit. We're just doing everything at once. Cool, we've installed vSphere. I'll activate it at some point. Actually, I should see. What does the host client do? I think I put that in. Do not store that. I'm just seeing what the heck this even is. Okay. Host manage stuff, whatever. Yeah, so essentially, that's what this is supposed to do here. It's supposed to convert the server and the operating system into essentially a VMware workstation type environment. So 192.168.0.3. Actually, I think it's 37. Yeah. Just ignore it then. We don't need it. What's nice about vSphere is that not only does it control the software of the system, but it also can control the hardware. And yes, I'm aware that the license will expire soon, or whatever. Now, I'm not going to install any servers in here right now. I think we're good leaving it the way it is. I'll install a server on here later, probably off camera. Meanwhile, let's check in on the status of the 510, the main server, the flagship. Well, we're getting no display, so I have to input first. It's still getting Windows ready. Okay, so the server has restarted, and we should be hooked up to a domain now. Yeah, look, other user. I should just still be able to log in as the administrator of this system. I'd like to see if I could. I don't fucking care. I wanted to see if I could log into the other server, but I don't think I can. So anyways, let's try to make a Hyper-V virtual machine now, shall we? What if run manage? That's not going to help. The service is running at least. What is it, an application? Okay, it's not, so... Okay, so yeah, where do I go from here? Computer management? Actually, it's probably not gonna help me very much. Yeah, no. Hyper-V Manager. That's what yeah, there we go. Connect to the server. Yeah, connect to the local computer. I would like to either import. Well then, no. I want to like create a virtual machine. There we go. Yeah, new virtual or new hard disk. Let's try that. No. This format supports virtual disks up to 64 terabytes. Well, the max that this thing will take, with the way it's configured now, is 24 terabytes. So I think we're okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna figure that out. So. Okay, I guess that works. We'll see if this works. So do that. It's copying the RAID array. I do sincerely hope we can change the configuration after this. And this is just creating a hard drive for the server. Oh, this is taking forever. Okay, it's the next day now, or rather the next night, and turns out, first off, let me explain why I love these little Dell screens here. They give you the error codes, so like you can just see, apparently the SCL is full, which I believe means the log is full, I need to clear it. Which is an error that we were getting on the R510 over here. But yeah, so I'll do that actually probably now, considering it does need to be done. Could have left that bezel off. I need to reconnect the monitor anyway. And the time it took, I actually managed to get a server background going. There we go. So yeah, server admin. It's probably gonna ask me for the login. Ask me later. Oh no, never mind. Yes, we have hardware log. We need to clear that. Seriously, let me the fuck in. The storage battery has failed. And in doing so, it kind of just sort of filled the entire log. I mean, perhaps I do need to replace the battery, but do I really? I don't think so. I guess it's gonna complain until I replace the battery. I hate it. It's fucking ridiculous, but I'm checking inside right now. So now you're about to hear the sound of a Dell server with an intrusion alert. Haven't done this in a while, so let's do it live on camera right now. I do really hope that the fan speed goes back down. Okay, yeah, it really doesn't like that, actually. Seriously, cool the hell down. Well, while we're doing that, I suppose we should go ahead and continue with our project here. Oh, yeah, lovely. I don't care. Windows, please fuck off. So let's go back to Hyper-V. I do hope that that server does cool back down to normal operation. So let's create a new virtual machine. Since we just created a new virtual hard drive, it's Alright, it's kind of going down. Go to settings here. They have to boot from the CD image. Alright, so the installation did finish, and the camera did fall off the tripod because the mount for my phone is a piece of shit. Alright, yeah, reboot the system then. Reject TrueNAS then. Let's figure out where to go from here. Okay. Okay, then. I guess it's just working. Just saw something about crypto on there. Interesting. I don't intend to use this system for crypto mining because it wouldn't be very profitable. It doesn't have any GPU power to it. Generating things. It's going to take a long time. I didn't know it took so long to start up TrueNAS. There we go. It's working. Oh, console setup. Alright then. Is that an 8 or a 0? We're gonna find out. So, enter the IP 192.168.0.30. That's not even close to what I entered. Okay. There we go. So it wasn't 8. Password. Yeah, save the password. That is better. Alright, here we go. There's updates available. That is pretty cool. That's 8 gigs available. I mean, I could have given it 16, but who cares? It's just this is only to manage the data. Accounts, groups, and user. Oh, okay. Name servers. I'm pretty sure that those are the DNS servers on the router. Storage. That's the interesting part. Okay then. What the heck? Okay, this is a lot more featured than I thought it was. 10 base T. I mean, the switch that it's running off of isn't actually a gigabit switch, it's just a 10100 switch. Windows shares. Add, I really don't know where to go from here. I'll have to figure out how to actually storage things on the server, and I will get back to you when I figure that out.
Okay, so like really quickly, as I was editing, I made a realization. I never explained what happened before I switched over. I'll talk about that in the next clip, but like, what happened was I made another drive, another virtual drive that was on the USB flash drive that had the operating system installed. And then I added the other virtual drive, Big mistake on my end.
So a couple of weeks and a COVID shot later, I'm back and a lot has happened. So let me explain the story of what happened to the server since the last clip. So I never really figured out how to actually share the drive. Turns out Windows was having issues trying to find the server for TrueNAS. So I instead decided to install a hacked version of Synology onto the virtual machine with Hyper-V. And then I started having asthma issues in the basement. So I spent the entire next day, actually no, it's the same day, I moved everything over to my grandma's house. This was Black Friday, by the way. Didn't score any deals, but I did buy a shelf for all of these servers. And let me show you that right now. Pretty cool, right? I know, I did a great job. And so did my grandpa. He helped a lot too, because we had to route the Ethernet cable through the roof to his room where the router was, which was harder than something. It's harder than I wanted it to be, because we had to disconnect the actual cable wire, tie a string to it, and feed the Ethernet cable back up through the wall to the router, and feed the cable back up through the wall. It was a mess, but I did get everything working, and I continued my work into getting Synology to work. So I installed it in Hyper-V virtual machine, and then Hyper-V quit working. It just wouldn't start the virtual machine anymore. Wasn't an issue with anything other than I don't even know what. So I frantically tried to find a different solution. I tried mapping the virtual drives that were on hyperspace to virtuality with the VMware system on there. Unfortunately, virtuality does not have capabilities to read off the data store that is the NAS. So I had to find a local virtual machine solution like Hyper-V, but Hyper-V isn't going to work because Microsoft, I hate you. Anyways, so I installed VMware Workstation on the server, and it didn't work until I added a special piece of code that makes it read legacy Xeon CPUs. And lo and behold, it started again, and it read the virtual drives too. Read the physical drives as virtual drives, meaning the longest computer process of my entire life was completely worthless. So after that, Synology installed pretty well. I did actually use the old version that I downloaded as well. I probably should look into getting the newest bootloader and then installing the newest version of DSM onto that, reconfiguring the drives and everything. Hopefully I don't lose all my data, because I mean all that's on there is operating system files that are from other drives. But I would like to make it more effective, because at the moment, half the time it reads, I've been testing with my main machine over here, half the time it reads just fine over the network. I mean, I have to search for it, and I did just map it to a network drive, but I had to type in the address for the server, and it worked sometimes. Sometimes it gave me the same error that I was getting with TrueNAS on the server itself. This is where we're at now. Am I happy with it? Mostly. I'm definitely proud of myself, because I finally got this fucking project to work. But it still has some work to do. And maybe there'll be a part 3, but I'm probably not going to make any big configuration changes until two things are done first. One, this is actually going to be the next video that I do, I'm going to be switching my main machine to Linux. Yeah, a big jump here. Finally getting rid of Windows. Fuck you, Microsoft. Second off, I am going to be adding more storage to the server, and it's going to be a whole thing to map that. I'm probably have to convert everything to RAID 5. I haven't quite figured out exactly how everything's going to work yet, but somehow, some way, we're gonna make all of this work, and you're gonna watch me do it. But for now, it does have enough functionality to be a usable server, a usable It is a usable NAS. I have a usable domain, and I have a usable virtualization server that I can access from anywhere on the network as long as I can, get into it. Other than that, I don't have much else to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the night sky. Wow, that explanation was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be.
All the on-screen instructions. What if I don't want to do that?